Someone vanishes. How do you solve a crime that leaves absolutely no evidence? How do you bring justice when the earth itself seems to have swallowed a person whole? That was the nightmare for the Sanders family. October 14th, 1988. Clara Sanders, 22, left her diner shift. Her car sat untouched. Keys on the kitchen counter. No forced entry. Detectives scoured. Hundreds interviewed. The trail went cold. Headlines faded. Public moved on. The Sanders family froze. Martha, her mother, aged beyond her years. Her father, once jovial, became a shadow. The case became legend. The perfect disappearance, a ghost story whispered. Then a flicker. 30 years later. A new cold case unit. They pulled Clara's file from dusty archives. Yellowed photos. They saw what others missed. Microscopically small. Deep within a torn upholstery seam in Clara's car, a single strand of hair lay coiled. Barely a millimeter long. It had clung there through investigations, through impound, through time. But it survived. Modern forensics worked. Mitochondrial DNA analysis. A full profile extracted. The database word. The suspect was unbelievable. Utterly, shockingly unexpected. The friendly neighborhood librarian. A community pillar. He even distributed missing Clara flyers. A rejected romantic advance. A dark obsession. He planned it with chilling precision. Quiet abduction. Secluded burial. He believed he left no trace. Found where he thought he was most careful. Martha Sanders wept. Tears of release. 30 years of not knowing. 30 years of pain. Finally answers. Arthur Jenkins confessed. Justice so long denied arrived. A microscopic thread, a testament to persistence. Science spoke for the silent. The impossible cold case cracked. Clara could finally rest. The scent of fresh coffee hung in the air. Sunlight streamed through Clara's kitchen window, painting golden stripes across the worn oak floor. She hummed a forgotten tune, stirring sugar into her mug. Outside, the world was waking up. A sprinkler whirred next door. An ordinary day began. It was a Tuesday. Her favorite day for the farmer's market. Crisp apples, artisanal bread, perhaps a new succulent for her windowsill. She always looked forward to these small rituals. They were the anchors of her life. Simple joys profoundly cherished. Her husband Mark clattered down the stairs, tie askew. He always woke late. Morning sunshine, he mumbled, planting a kiss on her forehead. His coffee waited just how he liked it. Don't forget your lunch, Clara reminded him, pointing to the brown paper bag. She depacked his favorite, a turkey and avocado sandwich, homemade cookies. He grinned, grabbing it. You're the best. His voice was warm with affection. He walked out, keys jingling. The front door clicked shut. Clara heard his car engine turn over, then fade. Silence returned, comfortable, familiar. She took another sip of coffee. The day stretched ahead, full of promise. A perfect, everyday Tuesday. She spent the morning tending her garden. Roses, vibrant and dew-kissed, climbed a trellis. Marigolds spilled from pots. Her hands, stained with earth, moved with practiced ease. This was her sanctuary. A world of her own making. Around noon, she decided to head out. Her market bag hung by the door. She slipped on her light jacket. Grabbed her keys. A quick check in the hallway mirror. Her auburn hair neatly styled. A touch of lipstick. Ready for her day. Like any other day. She locked the front door. The click echoed. A final, definitive sound. She stepped onto the porch. The sun was warmer. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves in the old oak tree. She walked down the path, her steps light, headed towards the bus stop, towards her Tuesday ritual. Mark called her later that evening. His usual after-work call. Dinner was planned. Their favorite Italian place. He drove home, a knot forming in his stomach. The house was dark. A chilling quiet settled. He fumbled with his keys. The front door was locked. He pushed it open. The scent of coffee, hours old, lingered faintly. His brown paper bag, unopened, sat on the counter. Her market bag was missing. Everything she would have taken. But she wasn't there. He checked the garden. Her car sat in the driveway. A chilling silence filled the house. He called her friends. No one had seen her. Panic clawed at him. A cold dread seeped into his bones. This wasn't like Clara. Hours bled into days. Days into weeks. The police arrived. Uniforms filled his living room. Endless questions. What was she wearing? Any recent arguments? Clara was loved. Kind, gentle soul. The neighborhood. The farmer's market. Posters with her smiling face appeared on every lamppost. Missing Clara Evans, her auburn hair, her warm eyes. A constant, heartbreaking reminder. A face frozen in a moment of happiness. But there was nothing. No forced entry. No signs of struggle. No ransom notes. She had simply evaporated. Vanished into thin air. A perfect disappearance. Completely baffling. The initial frenzy eventually died down. The police presence dwindled. The posters faded, then disappeared. The leads grew cold. The case went quiet. A gaping, agonizing hole in their lives. Mark sat alone in the quiet house. His coffee mug on the counter next to hers. Only hers was empty. Always empty now. The scent of coffee, once comforting, now a ghost. The silence, once familiar, now deafening. No one knew why. The impossible had happened. The perfect crime. Or so it seemed. A mystery that haunted everyone. The initial investigation exploded. Sirens wailed through the quiet streets. Flashlights cut through the pre-dawn darkness. Police swarmed Clara's house. Every cupboard, every closet, every garden bed searched. Neighbors whispered. No forced entry. No signs of struggle. Not a single witness. Clara vanished into thin air. The meticulous search yielded only an unnerving void. Her toothbrush still damp. Her car in the driveway. A half-finished book by her bed. The case grew cold. The initial flurry faded. The official report stacked up, thick with unanswered questions. Days bled into weeks. Weeks into months. Months into years. Clara's parents aged visibly. Their faces etched with a grief that never lessened. Birthday cakes with one less candle. Christmas mornings with an empty chair. The flyers with Clara's smiling face, once bright, now yellowed, peeling from lampposts. The public, initially gripped by the perfect crime, slowly moved on. But Clara's family never did. Hope became a fragile, distant whisper. A perpetual ache. Then a new beginning. A different era. A dedicated cold case unit formed. Fluorescent lights hummed in a sterile archive room. Boxes thick with dust lined the shelves. Detective Miller, young, driven, pulled Clara's file. Its cover cracked. He turned the yellowed pages. A fresh pair of eyes. A new perspective. He saw what others had missed. Modern forensic tools waited. A digital scanner hummed, preserving fragile evidence. He examined every item, every photo, every corner of the crime scene through fresh eyes. He ran a gloved hand over an old, cardboard evidence box. It contained fragments from Clara's living room. A throw blanket, all meticulously vacuumed, bagged, and sealed decades ago. A sigh escaped Miller's lips. Nestled deep in a seam of the sofa cushion's backing. A single dark fine strand. An overlooked filament. He carefully extracted it. A whisper of a clue. A sterile, hushed environment. The tiny strand underwent mitochondrial DNA analysis. A painstaking process. Every protein, every cellular detail scrutinized. The sequence slowly revealed itself. A pattern emerged. Complex algorithms churned. A potential match. The screen flickered. A name appeared. The lead detective stared. A familiar name. His calm facade crumbled under interrogation. His meticulously planned alibi, once ironclad, shattered. The motive mundane. A casual acquaintance. A sudden argument. A moment of uncontrolled rage. He'd believed he'd left no trace. Scrubbed every surface. Erased every fingerprint. But he missed one. One tiny, almost invisible hair. The courtroom was silent. A collective gasp rippled through the gallery. Clara's mother clutched her husband's hand, tears streaming. Decades of anguish lifted, replaced by a profound, if bittersweet, relief. The verdict, guilty. Justice finally. Science had spoken. Persistence had prevailed. Clara's memory was honored. A long-awaited closure brought by a microscopic thread. The impossible made possible. The impossible made possible. But before justice, before science, before relief, there was only one thing: disappearance. Clara Peterson vanished on a Tuesday. The crisp autumn air turned instantly frigid. A bright, vivacious art student. Full of laughter. Her small apartment, a cozy nest of paint-splattered canvases and well-worn books, offered no answers. The door was locked. Windows latched. Nothing disturbed. Not a single cushion out of place. No shattered glass. No forced entry. No sign of struggle. A cup of lukewarm tea sat on the bedside table, still warm to the touch that morning. A half-read novel lay open, a bookmark tucked precisely where she'd left it. It was as if she simply ceased to exist. Dissolved into thin air. Detectives arrived. Early morning light filtered through the blinds, illuminating dust motes but no clues. They found nothing. No fingerprints beyond Clara's own, naturally. No scuff marks on the polished wooden floor. No stray fibers clung to the doorframe. No dropped buttons. Just an empty space where a vibrant young woman should be. The initial search expanded. Her car remained parked in its usual spot. Her wallet and keys sat on the kitchen counter, untouched. Her phone charging. It was unthinkable. K-9 units swept the neighborhood. Divers plunged into the nearby river. Muddy water yielded only more mud, more despair. Flyers appeared on every lamppost. Her face, a hopeful smile, stared out from grocery store windows. Each day the hope dimmed. Each day the mystery deepened. The police force, a seasoned team, felt a growing frustration. Seasoned officers, veterans of countless investigations, admitted defeat. "It's like she evaporated," one detective mumbled, staring at a blank whiteboard. A whisper of frustration. A confession of failure. The leads dried up. Witnesses offered nothing concrete. A neighbor saw her leave for class. Another saw her return. Both at plausible times. No suspicious vehicles. No strange faces. The initial surge of activity dwindled. Phone calls stopped coming in. The task force disbanded within weeks. Files piled high. Clara Peterson became another statistic. A missing person. The kind that haunts. The kind that mocks. A perfect vanishing act. The first chapter of a story nobody could read. Her parents, a quiet couple aged years in weeks. Their daughter gone. Only an aching void. The community buzzed with theories. Wild speculation. But facts remained elusive. The police exhausted every avenue. Nothing connected. They checked her friends. Everyone had an alibi. Every story consistent. A vacuum of information. An impenetrable wall of normalcy. The case file grew thicker with dead ends. Each page a testament to what wasn't found. To what couldn't be explained. The initial investigation, exhaustive in its efforts, became a monument to futility. Clara's name faded from the headlines. Not from memory, but from public discourse. From active police logs. The impossible cold case had begun. A terrifying blank space in time. A family's endless torment. The perfect crime. Or so it seemed. The killer, if there was one, had vanished too. Without a trace. The silence of that apartment echoed for years. A constant, chilling reminder. An enduring enigma. Decades melted away. The calendar pages turned. Not just in a home filled with grief, but also within the towering walls of the precinct. Sarah's file, once a roaring blaze of urgent inquiry, slowly dimmed. A thick beige folder, pushed further and further back in the archives. A testament to an intractable mystery. To an unsolvable crime. The original detectives, seasoned and sharp, retired. Their meticulous notes, once vibrant with hope and theory, yellowed. Their voices faded. Their frustration, a tangible presence in the early days, dissolved into the quiet hum of history. The case became a legend. A whispered tale among rookies. The one that got away. The perfect vanishing act. But some legends refuse to die. Some files, no matter how deeply buried, still call out. Years later, a new team formed. A small, quiet unit. Their mission, to breathe life back into the frozen. To challenge the impossible. To haunt the forgotten. Detective Evelyn Miller led the charge. Her office, a stark contrast to the sterile modern precinct, was a museum of misery. Stacks of boxes. Fading photographs. Each file a silent scream. Each case a heavy weight. Sarah's file landed on her desk. Miller sought it out. The sheer audacity of its emptiness intrigued her. A blank canvas of terror. She didn't just read the reports. She absorbed them. She lived in them. Every typed word. Every handwritten margin note. She didn't seek new leads. She sought overlooked threads. The threads of old assumptions. The threads of dismissed minutiae. The original investigations, she knew, were limited by their time. By their technology. By their perspective. They searched for the obvious. The forced entry. The physical evidence of a fight. They looked for what was asterisk their asterisk. Miller looked for what shouldn't asterisk have been there. Or what was there, but simply hadn't been seen. She requested the evidence logs. The boxes, long sealed, arrived. Their contents, mostly empty or filled with discarded theories, seemed to mock her. Each bag opened, then resealed after yielding nothing. Fingerprints smudged or irrelevant. Fibers common and untraceable. Footprints all belonging to Sarah or the initial first responders. Miller spread out the original crime scene photographs, taken with outdated film cameras. She scanned them. Not for the obvious, not for the body that wasn't there. Magnifying glass in hand, her eyes, tired but relentless, traced every pixelated shadow, every dark corner, every floorboard, every sliver of light filtering through the window. She zoomed in on a close-up of Sarah's bedroom floor. A routine photo, taken to document the tidiness, the lack of struggle. The original report noted, floor clean, no visible debris, but Miller saw something else. Something minute. A tiny, almost imperceptible speck, barely distinguishable from the dust motes dancing in the sunbeam. A foreign intrusion in an otherwise pristine scene. It was a dark, slender line. A single, dark whisper against the pale wood. She compared it to other photos. It appeared in none of them. This particular angle, this specific light. Had it been there when the original team swept? Or had it been ignored? She couldn't be sure. But her gut tightened. A prickle of unease. A new question, decades in the making, echoed in the quiet room. Could something so small hold the answers to a decade-old void? A single dark line. Sarah's hands trembled. From a new kind of hope. The single hair, barely a whisper of evidence, went to the most advanced lab in the country. Scientists, renowned for their painstaking work, received it like a fragile relic. No one promised anything. Decades had passed. Degradation was inevitable. But the hair held secrets. Its tiny shaft contained mitochondrial DNA. A different kind of genetic fingerprint. Not unique to an individual, but to a maternal line. More robust than nuclear DNA, often surviving when others perished. The clock began ticking again. Days bled into weeks. Every ring of the phone, a jolt. Every email notification, a held breath. The lab confirmed. A partial profile. But a direction. A narrow corridor in a vast labyrinth. The database hummed. Cross-referencing. An unexpected ripple in the quiet waters of the past. The arrogance of the killer. That was the thought. Believing the wind would scatter every trace. That time would erase all memory. They underestimated. They left one tiny, silent witness. A single strand of hair. For the right eyes. For the right tools. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? That even when we think we've vanished without a trace, a tiny part of us, an invisible signature might remain. A silent accusation biding its time. What do you think makes a killer so certain of their escape? Do you believe a truly perfect crime is even possible? Or will some fragment of truth always remain, waiting to be found?